702.
Series Edition. It is episode 4 time Hydro Retreat, and you can get in touch with us if you would like to share your experiences or questions for our guests, Abraham Kruger, Nutrition and Wellbeing Consultant. Give us a call, 011-883-0702, and the WhatsApp line 072-7021-702. Abraham, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Relebogile, and thank you so much for having me.
Is it pronounced Kruger or Kruger?
Kruger. Kruger or Kruger, it depends. but either's fine.
Either is. You know, we have to be very careful with pronunciations.
Apparently so, yes. We could get in big trouble.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Just people are listening. Okay. So I'm excited about this. We've covered silence. We've covered darkness. We've covered naked.
Yes.
And today we're talking hydro.
Hydro, yes.
What is hydro all about?
Now, hydro retreats have been around since the ancient Greeks, and they understood the benefits of water therapy. When the Romans learned this from them, they created the Roman baths and SPA, which is actually an acronym for Salus per Aquam, which means, yes, that's what SPA means. And essentially it means healing through water.
Yes.
Now, hydros have changed over the centuries. They have become a lot more holistic, sort of incorporating a lot more wellness aspects to them.
As opposed to back in the day where they may have held you underwater a little bit too long.
Literally, it was sitting in a nice hot tub.
Yes.
Is what they did.
Yes.
Now, they obviously knew it worked, but now we know why it worked. I read a recent article that found in a group of people who were told to do a 15-minute session in a hot tub for several days had a lowering of their cortisol of 11%.
The stress hormone.
Yes, the stress hormone went down. When we use heat therapy, lots of fantastic things happen. That's why a hydro should have a sauna, and it should have a steam room, and it should have hot tubs. And when we raise the body's temperature, we have production of heat shock proteins. And I know that sounds really scary.
Yes.
But it's not that we have to go to very extreme temperatures to get heat shock proteins. Anywhere from about 37 degrees Celsius. So stand outside on a very hot day and you're going to get the benefit of heat shock proteins. They are multifaceted, multifunctional DNA, RNA binding agents. They facilitate cellular regeneration. They facilitate liver function and healing. And also, what's great about them is they increase our stress resilience. Now you get your heat shock proteins and your cold shock proteins.
I was about to say, I'm all down for the heat. Even when you're in the room and you are steaming, you feel, you're sweating, you feel so healthy.
It's relaxing.
Yes.
Your muscles are relaxing. Your body is getting rid of a lot of uric acid. So what that means is that you're sweating out things like mercury and arsenic and all sorts of really nasty toxins out of your body. You're helping to reduce inflammation in the body. You are improving circulation, because what's happening is capillaries are dilating. And when this happens, it means that we are delivering more oxygen-rich blood to our various organs and limbs. So your muscles are gaining higher amounts of nutrition. So more nutrients are being delivered to your muscles, more nutrients being delivered to your organs whilst you're in this heat therapy.
So the one you were going to freak me out with is if you're going to talk to me about ice baths. I'm not built for it.
Yes.
And I didn't decide that. My ancestors did.
Perhaps you'll change your mind when you hear about the phenomenal benefit of cold therapy. So cold therapy, in particular, what interests us at the moment is the research which is linking the production of neurogenesis processes in cold therapy. So when we talk about these proteins that are released, that act upon the DNA, so there is a protein released during cold therapy, which is RNA binding motif 3. So this is a very specific kind of protein. And this protein is involved in the production of what's the word? Well, spaces, the synapses. Sorry, my vocabulary just let me down for a second.
It happens.
The synapses in the brain. This helps to improve the health of your neurons as well. And what we see happening is a significant improvement in terms of cognitive function and a very, very significant decreased risk of degenerative brain conditions. So we're seeing a much lower risk of, say, Alzheimer's or Parkinson's disease through incorporating cold therapy. What we also get with cold therapy is we get a massive dose of norepinephrine. And your norepinephrine, it increases vigilance, it increases focus, it increases memory recall, as well as production of new memories, so storing of new memories. And over and above all of that, we've got a fantastic support in terms of immune system with our cold therapy.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
Someone was sharing the story of, there's this trend of people now taking cold baths first thing in the morning or having cold showers. And I know this is very rare, but in all of the hydrotherapy treatments that you were speaking about just now of like the heat and the cold, would there be any people who are precluded from participating? Because there is a person who shared that, I don't know what happened, if it was a seizure. It was something that was very, very hectic. And my automatic assumption was that they probably had something pre-existing that maybe they didn't know was in contradiction with doing some of these things. So when you do assess a person who wants to come through and do some of these things, who are the people that usually get precluded? You're like, for this, it might just shock your body a little bit too much.
Definitely. Every guest that checks in at the Hydro goes through a orientation and screening with one of our medical staff. So we just check the vital statistics, blood pressure, heart rate, and so forth, and clear them for doing the variety of treatments that we offer. So it's a little bit of family history. Interesting that you mentioned the seizures. So that's also something that you try and find out when you're talking family history. For most people, I would say heat and cold therapy, something we can do at home in our shower, in our baths, shouldn't be of a great risk to the majority of people. But people with pre-existing conditions should discuss it with their physician before doing so.
And I think, you are absolutely right on the money with that one, because you really do never know. And there are so many amazing health benefits. You wouldn't want anybody having an experience that's like, oh, this is terrible. It left me scarred for life.
And generally, it's good to ease into it. So maybe you do your nice hot shower, which is part of your heat therapy. Turn the hot tap off. Do 20 seconds cold water. And from there on, you can build up and you can increase. Or you can decrease the temperature systematically. Interesting thing about the cold shock proteins is you only need to go down to about 20 degrees Celsius. So it doesn't have to be a freezing cold. 20 degrees Celsius is actually where we see rather optimum production of these proteins.
I'm thinking about water in general and its natural healing properties. We've spoken a lot about water being quite in the external sense of how you can use it for your body. What are some of the things that you look at in hydrotherapy where water is concerned with regards to intake? I know some people believe in things like colonoscopies and things like that.
Okay, so colon therapy or colonic irrigation is definitely not something I would recommend. I think it's quite dangerous.
Really?
It disrupts your gut microbiome. Currently, in the field of nutrition, we are getting so much information regarding the gut microbiota. So these are all little organisms that live in your large intestine. They live in your colon, and we're talking trillions of bacterial cells, trillions of fungi, and trillions of archaea. It's also our largest endocrine system, so it produces more hormones than any other system in our body. Its job is related to the absorption of nutrients, especially peptides like collagen, and also the production of nutrients. Then over and above this, it houses about 70% of your immune system. And the colon is designed in a very specific way. And in the colon, we'll always have different colonies of what we refer to as good bacteria and funguses and bad bacteria and funguses. But we need them all. It's a biosphere.
Yes.
The colon's also designed in a very specific way with flaps. So the flaps all point in the right direction. With colonic irrigation, we're pushing the flaps in the wrong direction, which can lead to scarring in your colon. So there is a significant risk, and we definitely don't support colonic irrigation of any sort. Staying hydrated, I mean, that's hugely important, and we are so fortunate, blessed with the water we have. So our water is a true mineral water with incredibly high levels of calcium and magnesium, and the perfect ratio of these two essential minerals as well. How much water someone should drink? Well, there's not a fixed amount of water. Like, people say 8 glasses a day.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good for some people, and not necessarily for everyone else. And we do count the water in, for instance, the fruit we eat. We count the water in the raw
tea,
salads. We count
teas.
tea. We count coffee because
We do count coffee?
Sorry?
We count coffee?
We count coffee. Yes, that's water in there. Coffee becomes diuretic if we have high amounts of caffeine. So when we sort of go beyond that third cup, then we lose hydration benefits. But the interesting thing about staying hydrated is that dehydration of anywhere like 1 to 2% already significantly impacts on our cognitive function and our physical, our biological function. So our ability to exercise, for instance, is significantly impaired with even the tiniest amount of dehydration. But overhydration, hyponatremia, that's also a very dangerous condition. So you don't want too much water.
Where you're drowning all your nutrients.
But when you're at a health hydro, we'll be doing lots of activities. Exercise forms a key aspect to our treatment program. And of course, if someone's very active, they're going to have to drink more water. If someone is spending a lot of time in the hydrotherapies and in the sauna and they're sweating, they're obviously going to have to replenish with more water. So you'll find that people who come to hydro drink a lot more water than they normally would. And that's actually very, very good news, especially for the kidneys. So that helps to keep the kidneys flushed out. It lowers our risk of kidney stones as well. But we are actually losing a lot of that moisture through the skin. So we're not urinating out a lot of the water that we actually drink. But I did want to come back to that physical aspect of water. So one of the classes we do every day at the Hydro is aquarobics. And aquarobics is just such a fantastically diverse form of exercise with so many benefits. So as soon as you get into the water, you're immersed in the water. The water is going to be pressing on your body. And as your limbs are moving in the water, what's going to happen is you're going to have essentially a lymph drainage massage. So it's going to help to push the lymph and all the toxins that the lymph carries through those lymph nodules. So you're going to have that detoxifying effect in your lymphatic system. You are in an environment where you're essentially almost weightless. So anyone can do aquarobics. No issue in terms of the joints. You've got the resistance of the water. So now that we're working with resistance, now we can really tone muscles. And, the majority of calories we burn during the course of the day goes towards maintaining our body temperature. And so a good aqua pool is going to be at least 10 degrees under body temperature. And that is going to have quite a significant impact on metabolism again. So I always tell my clients, you're burning calories for free when you get into the water. So that's another aspect where we incorporate our hydrotherapy.
When you're speaking about back in the day, some of the things that would happen where you kind of just sitting in a hot tub, fast forward to today, are you finding that many people are not incorporating water and its healing benefits enough in their lives? For example, and maybe this is not necessarily a physical thing, but, I know somebody who often says, wash the day off before, you actually settle before bed, because you need to wash off the energies you've been interacting with, wash off so many things. Is there an aspect of hydro that you see in that way, that yes, there are days where it helps to wash off certain things or cleanse, if that makes sense?
So. I do think there is that psychological aspect to hydrotherapy as well. And when we get home, and we had a particularly tough day, there's nothing like a nice soak in a tub. Nice hot tub, have a good soak. Or stand under a shower and have a bit of time to reflect. Have that sort of mindfulness. Because, now you're in the shower, now you're in your bathroom, no one's going to come in and disturb you. So you have that bit of solace. So I definitely think we can take advantage of that a lot more. What I also like about hydrotherapies, heat therapy, cold therapy, is how it helps to increase our resilience in terms of stress. And it is something that we can incorporate more. But the big thing is going for those more extreme temperatures, the hotter bath and the colder shower. That makes a huge difference.
So when a person, your place, your wellness retreat is called Hoogland.
That's right.
And it's nicely nestled far away from civilization, if I call it that.
I think it's important. Yes.
Even though it's in Gauteng, and it's a nice getaway where people go to just rejuvenate and to catch up with themselves. So outside of the hydro treatment that you've spoken about, I understand that you have many medical professionals that can become available to you as well there, so that you can go and have that holistic approach, be it wanting the physio or maybe even having access to somebody to talk to if that's required.
Yes.
What is the main value, or let me say value system, that Hoogland really stands on? Because you even speak on your website about the fact that food is available throughout the day, really good food. You can graze and just really switch off and enjoy the space.
Yes. For us it is about longevity. It is about helping people live their best lives. So we have to look at all of those different aspects. I think our location it's stunning. It only took me an hour to drive here this afternoon, so it's not that far. But it's a 430-hectare game reserve. We've got 30 kilometers of trails. Being in this natural setting helps us switch off. It helps us relax. And I think that's very important. The main building, that was built by my grandparents back in the 1970s. It's rustic, but it's quaint, it's homely. People feel comfortable there. All of our guests, I think our guests are the heart and soul of the hydro. Because every single person that visits a health hydro is there because they have taken responsibility for their health. They're ready to reinvest. They're ready for some self-care. So you've got this amazing atmosphere at the hydro. We support it with a whole host of professionals. So we have medical doctors, psychologists, we have a life coach. And I think the work, especially of the psychologists and the life coaches, that's so important.
And definitely complementary to the work that you are already doing. And I definitely would encourage everybody, as we have run out of time, to head over to hoogland.co.za. That's HOOGLAND.co.za. Or head over to the Instagram Hoogland Hydro or Facebook Hoogland Hydro and get to just explore, because the hydro part is the one aspect, but there is the bigger aspect of this holistic healing.
That's it. We have the massage therapies and beauty therapies we also offer. We have yoga classes, Pilates classes, as I said, the aquarobics. We've got the guided hikes. All of our food is just unrefined, unprocessed, as natural as can be. So yes, really holistically based around heart health.
Mr. Kruger, thank you so much for coming to talk to us about Hoogland. I have a feeling I'm going to be seeing you very soon.